Hello. Well, as you can see, I am pretty bald. And I'm now 53, right? Yeah. I have to check sometimes. Um, so I grew up in the 19 I was born in 1969, and I grew up during the 70s, and of course the 70s were known for having very long hair. I mean, I think for me, the 70s was a great time. We had the civil rights movement, anti-war movement, women's rights movement, and so forth. The country was really, uh, I want to say, opening up, perhaps, and then I think it quickly got shut down again. But one of the things that you'd notice is that a lot of people had afros and long hair. I remember as a child, I have, like most African Americans, Latinos, I have European as well as African ancestry. I mean, we all have African ancestry, but um, I was quite often told that I had quote unquote good hair. Now, of course, Chris Rock is the only one I'm aware of who's actually taken this topic on, which is weird. Like, this is such a massive topic in my opinion, and I'm surprised there's not, like, I mean, scholarship on this topic, because as Chris Rock pointed out in his film, and ironically, I guess he was talking about Jada Pinkett Smith's baldness, wasn't he, when he got smacked? But he talked about, just how massive this industry is. Getting hair from India, and I forgot the numbers, but it's huge. And these hair shows, which I wasn't even aware of. I've had so many incidents in my life. I remember I was a student at the Episcopal Academy, which is a very elite private school in the United States. And I remember I was in study hall. I think I'd like to do a video about this, but there weren't that many black students there. I think African American students started coming in the 1960s, maybe 70s. So I think there were about five of us in study hall this one day, and I remember one guy. I think it was Eugene. Oh, George put a comb in Eugene's hair, I believe, and started pulling it. And he said, "Look at these peasy N-word knots," and he was like pulling his hair, and just the sort of negative connotation or words used to describe African. You know, the wideness of the nose, the skin color, uh, and the lips, and also hair in particular. And if you look at just anything that approximates anything more European is better, lighter skin. I'm saying this is not my opinion, but this is what we're indoctrinated, including myself, in what I would call a kind of internalized white supremacy, that we're sort of indoctrinated into thinking that lightness is better, um, straight quote unquote hair is better. Whereas even the word kinky, like you use the word kinky to describe an afro, why not like say tighter? And I even one time said to my next door neighbor, Tina, that her hair looked like Brillo, which made her cry. And then I felt badly about that. And then even like my mother was from New Orleans, Louisiana, and some of her relatives had afros, and some of her siblings, I mean, had afros. Some had quote unquote straight hair, and that would be a point of contention. I remember I heard a story that my aunt one Nona maybe said, "It's not what's on your head; it's what's in your head." And they used to have those paper bag and comb tests in order to get into a party in New Orleans. Um, but anyway, I remember I went to an Italian barber shop, which was in the 30th Street train station here in Philadelphia, and they had a one of the barbers. He was like he was like, Look at your hairline. It used to be like here, I guess." And he said, "You have a beautiful head of hair. You will never go bald." I wish I could find that guy now. And what's interesting is unbeknownst to me, I did my 23andMe recently, and I came to find out that I myself am 26% Italian. Um, I forgot what part of Italy. Uh, they even pinpointed like a particular area of Italy. Anyway, I don't even know how that happened. I don't know any Italian relatives. Maybe in New Orleans, I think they did have a Italian population there. I always thought I was like part French, but anyway, I'm digressing. Um, and then I remember I had a Jewish barber who was right here in Bala Cynwyd, where I live in Winfield. Bala Cynwyd is a little town right out. I don't know if it's a town, but it's right outside of Philadelphia. And I remember this guy was a character. I'm trying to think what was his name. Ed. His name was Ed, and he used to like flex his muscles. He would show you his muscles, and um, I asked him. This was, I guess, back in the 1990s when the fade haircuts. I might have been in high school. I don't know. And I asked him if he could give me a fade haircut, and he said, "You don't want to look like you're colored, do you?" And I was like, "Whoa, wow, colored." But yeah. So just hair straightening. It's interesting that, um, of course, there was the conch. You know who else also goes into this a great deal is, of course, Spike Lee, right? Genius. And in particular in the movie Malcolm X, where was it put lie in the hair or conch or whatever the hell. But I mean that stuff. It's Chris Rock actually shows. I remember he had a part with a chemist where he showed like how you can burn your scalp. I mean, it's just horrifying. Can you imagine? I mean, you don't have to imagine the the level of self-hatred that you have to have in order to burn yourself, so just for your appearance. And I know we do that in a number of ways. Another thing that was really interesting, sort of ironic, is that in the movie with Chris Rock, I guess it's a documentary. The hair is uh, um, bought from India, right? But I'm working on becoming a registered play therapist, and one of the things that we do is we have like these Zoom meetings, right? And half of the psychotherapists are from India, and one of the women, like, we have to describe our cases. And she was talking about a darker skinned Indian child who was in a lighter skin Indian family, and I was surprised that I was surprised to hear how important color is in India. Which of course is here in African American, and I imagine also in Brazil, I'm sure. I don't want to say it's universal, but perhaps you know, color, lighter skin is something that occurs probably anywhere Europeans had invaded. But hair, so like when my hair fell out, I had to ask myself, well, how good is it exactly? Because it's just hair, but it's interesting that we ascribe value to different kinds of hair, different um textures of hair. Like why would one be any better than the other? And as you can see, I'm trying to have hair, since it's not on my head, trying to have it on other parts of my face, holding on in any way that I can. I tried a kind of a comb over, but that looked ridiculous. So I really just kind of shave it off altogether. But but it is just good to notice that it's so deeply ingrained, a hair, skin color, features, facial features, that is something that I think we have to conscientiously break out of, because it's just part of this sort of white supremacist, I would call it internalized white supremacy, which is so pervasive. Um, you have to have a conscientious effort to kind of combat it. And so that is all I'd like to say on that topic. But certainly, I want to talk about white supremacy and, of course, racism and class and many other issues in subsequent videos. Thank you.